in Edo State, where the People's Democratic Party, PDP, won in all 18 local government areas in the local government election held on Saturday in the state. The election was held in all the 18 local government areas of the state, covering Edo North, Edo Central, and Edo South senatorial districts. Apart from the PDP, the All Progressives Congress, APC, and the Labour Party, LP, are two other significant political parties that had candidates in the election for chairmanship and councillorship of all the wards, in addition to the PDP.
Meanwhile, Comrade Julius Abure-led Labour Party has rejected the result of the elections as announced by the State Independent Electoral Commission. Labour Party condemned the election as conducted by Edo SIEC, describing it as another sad testimony of how low a state government can descend in attempting to rubbish the gains of democracy. But in a swift reaction, the Edo State Governor Edo SIEC has said the performance of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Saturday's local government elections in the state shows the party's dominance in the state and is a reflection of the wishes of a majority of Edo people. We are joined this morning by Comrade Ogbaloy KSC. He's the chairman, Labour Party in Edo State. Good morning, Comrade. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, good morning, my brother. You are welcome, and thanks for having me here.
All right. Your party has rejected the results, of the elections in Edo State. Can you share with us, what reasons, you might be putting forward, as why the elections didn't go, or you don't think that they were, free and fair?
Well, the local government election in Edo State was a total loss. It was marked with irregularity and destiny to take home about it. In fact, that exercise was rejected by my party because there was no proof, because all democratic elements were, removed from the exercise totally. And we are more surprised even by today that the Edo State government and the PDP, they are rolling out results as if election actually took place. No election happened in Edo State. In most places, in Edo State, election material were never present there, and SIEC official, that is the Edo State Independent Electoral Commission, had it their officer or grant to even supervise the exercise at all. So we wonder how results emerge from those locations. More specifically, Ward 8 and 9 in our East local government area, where, of course, I was physically present. There was no electoral officer, no FPO, no material was supplied to virtually all the units that in that environment. And this also happened in several other places, where no election even take place at all. The officers of STF were never present. They were never seen. The only place the electoral officer was seen was at the headquarters of that local government, and he was completely helpless as he was the only person sent and available in the entire local government to conduct elections in all the places. Materials that were available with him, according to his statement, were even in short supply because only a booklet of 100 copies was to be given to the units. And where, of course, if you check the census of those who would vote in that locations, we are over 1,000 or more persons. If you move away from there, you find out that in the local government, the entire top officers of PDP in the government of Governor Obaseki dispatched themselves physically to the field and deployed enough talks to chase away other political parties participating in that election. So they were not accessible to the arena to even get the electoral materials to their various units. There were shootings here and there, and people were forced pants down. So,
but just before you go on, the things that you're mentioning, how come they didn't affect the PDP? These reports of violence and no showing, of INEC materials, and all of that. How come they didn't affect the PDP?
Can you come up with the question again, please?
Okay, I'm asking the things that you're complaining about, the fact that you're saying, electoral materials didn't show up on time, INEC officials weren't present in, a couple of, local government councils and the likes, and of course the violence that was also reported. Why would you say they didn't affect the PDP? Because the PDP apparently had its results, and the governor of the state claims that it was a peaceful electoral process and they didn't have any issues. Results have been declared, that the state loves the PDP. So how come these things that you're talking about didn't affect the PDP?
Well, I wonder how PDP could really be affected, and I think the state government is totally refusing to be truthful to itself, and that is what happened because we were physically on ground, and when we say materials are not supplied early enough, we are saying that there were locations where materials were not supplied to. So you won't be surprised if PDP is comfortable with this because the process was driven by government led by PDP, so they won't see anything wrong with them. What they did, however, you must appreciate this fact. The governor of Basakis of the PDP, and he was the one superintending the elections. So whatever went wrong, he will accept as good, and that is what he's exactly doing. So he is defending what is not defendable. This situation is not peculiar to Labour Party alone. Other political parties are involved, the APC and others. And so we are telling you exactly what happened. But you must agree with me that the PDP will see nothing wrong with what happened. How do you then, in a competitive democracy where elections are to be done, and you are there pounding your chest that you had 80/18? This has been the history of this once, where there is democracy, it is clearly impossible for any political party to draw 80/18 because others cannot be sleeping throughout.
Okay.
So for me, sir, it is not possible for party and government to tell the world that what went on with that election was wrong. So continue.
Was it something that was discovered after the elections, or were there indications that this was going to happen prior to the elections? Also, what would you say to people who would be of the position that the Labour Party is only reacting this way because the election results were not announced in their favor?
Well, not that Labour Party is reacting this way because results are not in our favor. It is clearly what happened. It's not Labour Party is saying it. You can also interview other political parties. I think their position will certainly not be different from what we are saying here. So we are not talking because we didn't win the election. But the truth remains that what we saw was as clear as we are explaining to you. Nothing entirely happened in the election. There were massive irregularity, and of course the PDP was on top of this. They were the people who were suspected.
Okay. I also want to ask about, a thing, because we had a conversation last week that maybe prompted, this question. The popularity of the Labour Party's candidates, because, I don't know that Edo State people are really just going to go to the polls to, vote Labour Party. So do you think Labour Party, has, over time, in the last couple of months, been able to generate enough popularity for the candidates that were running for these elections? Edo State, of course, has had a PDP, government for a while, aside the time when Adams Oshomole, of course, stepped in and it became an APC state. Aside that, it has been mostly PDP, and so you would understand the popularity of the PDP in the state. Did Labour Party, as a political party, have enough publicity for its candidates in these 18 local government areas?
Of course, yes. Our publicity was overwhelming, and who says PDP has that popularity in Edo State anymore? The popularity they had is in the past. They don't have anyone now, and that's why they clearly resorted to untwisting and creating pandemonium and stealing very many things around the election. Of course, you cannot say upon that they still have popularity. If they have popularity, what happened in Edo State will not happen. They don't have it anymore. But I am saying to you that Labour Party was prepared, and with this sufficient, publication, we campaigned from all local corners of the place. Of course, we would have won this election. Left for the fact that they went into very archaic and ugly way of dealing with elections.
All right, so what's the way forward? What next for the Labour Party? Now that these election results have been announced, the Labour Party is not in support of the election result, not just because of the result, but like you mentioned, the irregularities that surround the elections. What next? Do you have confidence that there will be any remedy to resolve this?
Well, because we cannot be pessimistic altogether here, even though the PDP and the government of Edo State are also in charge of government machinery like the court and all of that, we will not relent. Further steps will be taken and further positions will be made today because I am calling the State Executive Council meeting to review the activities and take position. And I can assure you that whatever step we intend to take, we will take it, notwithstanding that these ones can be referred to as manipulation themselves as a name.
Okay, well, I mean, have these reports been made to the Edo State Independent Electoral Commission? And is the body aware in the state of these reports of violence and failure of its?
Of course, yes, because right from the spot of discovering that nothing was going on, we put calls across to the Independent Electoral Commission in Edo State, and they responded as if they were going to work, but they never did anything. Because when there were no materials and nobody was coming to the locations, we called, severally to say this is our experience. But what we got was that, oh, please, don't be patient, they'll be there now. And at the end of the day, nothing happened. Because this report. And that is why we are more surprised that by today, the Edo State Independent Electoral Commission can sit back and roll out results from locations where no exercise even took place. And for locations where in fact there were fights, there was shootouts, materials were never sent there on time, an election that was supposed to take place by 8 to 2 o'clock never started until about 3 or thereabouts. And then today, the chairman of that commission is a semi-result. Very disturbing is that this is where clearly electoral officers and material never got to at all. They are bringing results out of there. So we'll be looking at it this morning. My State Executive Council meeting we hold. We'll look at that and make position.
So what the Labour Party is saying is that the Edo State, Independent Electoral Commission is complicit in maybe falsifying results on behalf of the PDP. Is that the claim of Labour Party? Exactly,
because they do not appear independent. That's what we are saying, because I can recall that when the chairman, Justice Abure, told the world and those state people that the movement will be restricted during the election, the government of Edo State came up much later to say, oh, of course, movement will not be restricted. So who was the chairman of SIEC? Is it Justice Abure or the governor of Edo State? So you find out that most of the rules for the exercises were rather doctored by the Edo State government or directly gave the rules. Because you cannot understand why the chairman himself will say this is what he wants the commission, and the government of Edo State says no, it's otherwise. So for us, either the Justice Abure was muzzled by the government and was refused to do his job appropriately, or he compromised.
All right. We're just going to have to, wait and see how eventually this would play out. I was going to ask you in other unrelated news, what is the current situation between the president, the governor, beg your pardon, and the deputy governor of Edo State and the drama? Can you quickly chip that in? Maybe give us an insight into what's going on in Edo State's politics, in Edo State government, especially as regards the governor and the deputy governor.
Well, right now, I can tell you there's no government in Edo State, but I will not be in-depth about what is happening to them because that is PDP, and whatever is going on there is theirs to take home as far as I'm concerned. But what I can tell you is that there have been no government and there's no government in Edo State. How can you explain such a squabble? Those who are infighting, how can they govern a place? That's the situation we have in Edo State. And that is what, of course, is happening in the election that is conducted.
All right. Comrade, thank you very much for your time this morning. We, of course, would follow up and see how things develop with regards to the Edo State local government elections, and we would like to speak with you again.
Thank you very much.
All right.